back to Rat Trap Garage. Man, it's been a minute since I made a video. Glad to be back out here working with y'all. Still waiting on 3-link stuff, so I figured got time, might as well raise the bed floor. So we're gonna raise this up about 7.5 inches, so the top of the wheel tubs or the bottom of the edge of the bed or whatever, the bed rail over there, like right here. Got some material and some pipe to make the mounts, because obviously those are gonna be 7.5 inches taller. This is gonna go in between here and here. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, well, for starters, obviously I have the bed kind of just on the ground. I got it on some packing blankets, and I got it, hey, come on, square, yep. I got it totally level. Level in there. All I had to do was cut some, like, I think they were 9.5 inch 2x4s, put it underneath here. And what my plan is, shout out to my homie Matt on Instagram. He's got a bagged OBS as well, and he told me to do it this way. I was about to cut the shit out of this bed and make a big mess, and he's like, dude, do it this way. I'm gonna drill out all these spot welds, so all along here, there's about 700 of them. And then up here in the front, oh, there's my gas tank. All these. So drill all those out, and then I'm gonna make a cut in the sides over here, probably right around here-ish, and then slide everything up and then weld it in. Sounds easy. I don't know if it's gonna be easy. This is the first time I've done anything like this, so let's do it together, and if I fuck up, I fuck up. It's just metal. And then eventually this thing's gonna get, I'm gonna do like a raptor liner or some sort of bed liner, just sprayed in here, and asphyxiate myself with the lack of oxygen. But yeah, let's get started on that. All right, first thing we gotta do is get these hogs out of here. I'm gonna get this gas tank out of here. Recutting and welding and doing a bunch of stuff. Don't want to get the old green all messed up, or the old pink machine over there. So let's get these out, gas tank out of here, and then we can get to work. Before I get to drilling out all those spot welds and taking the seam sealer off, let's get these out. So these are 13 mil bolts holding on the, what do you call them, fender struts or whatever. You got one on each side, because obviously this whole thing's gonna be going up. So these will have to get extended, or I gotta do something with those, but I'm gonna get those unbolted real quick, and then we get started on the spot welds. Okay, so before I start tackling these spot welds, I gotta get this seam sealer off. So I'm just gonna hit this with a super sharp razor blade, and I think I only gotta go like here and get this, because I want to slide, I want to cut behind there and then raise this up along here and then weld it onto here once I get it up there. Same thing on this side, and this side I have it marked how high I'm going, so that's 7.5 inches from the bed floor. Get this out of here, cut it, and then hit it with a wire wheel, and then go from there. All right, so we got the seam seal out here and here. This side as well, I just used a razor blade, hammer, and a flathead. So now we're gonna go up to the front, because we gotta take this whole seam seal out along here, because obviously the bed floor is gonna be free to slide up along here. So let's get all that out, and then we should finally be ready for some spot weld action. Okay, the seam is no longer sealed. Got all that shit out of there. I don't know if it's just because the front of this bed's been sitting outside, or this truck's been on the road for 30 years now, and I don't think it's ever had a topper or a canopy. So this stuff kind of just crumbled away, probably from all the UV and sun rays. But yeah, that's all out of there. You can see got ourselves a seam. So let's tackle some spot welds, see if we can get this thing raised up. Okay, so we are gonna start back here on all these. I think there's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's a lot. But I'm gonna go through. I got this fancy dancy little tool from Amazon. So this little pin pushes in. It's a spot welder remover. I think it's like 10 bucks on Amazon. Comes with like 20 more little bits or tips, whatever you want to call them. I'm gonna go through and center punch all of these spot welds so I have a good spot for that thing so I'm not walking around. So we'll center punch all of these and then we'll get to drilling. We got all of the rear spot welds out of here. And now my whole plan with this was I can jack the bed, just the bed up itself. This will stay, so I'll have something to weld to. I'm gonna put some supports in between the actual bed floor and whatever this cross brace thing is. So I'll have like, that's what that square tubing is for. I'll put a brace like here, here, and there to support that. But those are all out, so that was not fun, by the way. And they all decided to walk this way. Yeah, whoa, just a little bit. Whatever, the Raptor line will cover that up. On to the front. Okay, and up here we got the same thing. Thankfully, there's only one. They're not stacked like the back of the bed. The back of the bed had 2 on every spot weld. So gonna go through and punch all these and then start drilling them out and make my cut inside there and raise this thing up. Okay, all of the front spot welds are out. My little tool broke about halfway. It was working great till it didn't. I had to go buy a 3/8 drill bit and got all these out, and now you can see we are free. So now we need to decide where we're gonna make our cut over here, and obviously over here. And then I think once I cut that, I should be able to raise it. Might have to cut something back here. I'm not too sure yet. I don't know if this is just gonna boop, slide right up, but let's find out. The next thing we gotta do is take care of these stake pocket things. Is obviously if I raise this up, that's gonna hit. So there's spot welds inside of there, spot welds on the back over here, but I think I'm just gonna try to cut it and get as close as I can and maybe try to wiggle it off. So let's try that. Okay, so these stake pockets don't just fucking come out easily at all. I saw the 2 spot welds on the bottom, like, oh, let's drill those out. This thing should just pop right out. No, 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 not the case. They have welds, let me see if you can see here. On the inside, they have spot welds. So this is actually the back side of this. Dude, I've just been cutting and grinding and cutting and grinding. So this part sucks. I'm probably just gonna cut the other side because this is gonna get covered anyways. Once I cut right here, this whole thing's gonna come up and cover this, but I'm a whole ass type of person instead of just half-assing it, so I'm gonna continue cutting this out. I think all I'm gonna do now is cut that and then smooth up here and then go over there. Okay, there's one stake pocket down. Got her all cleaned up, nice and good like. Time to tackle this one. Like I said, this is not a fun job, but let's get her done. Okay, that took way too long, but both stake pockets are out and cleaned up. Here's what's left of them. They didn't come out in one piece, I'll tell you that right now. Good golly. I got myself a little line on both sides of the bed. I use tape because it's easy to hold a straight line using tape. So, since it's the evening now, I'm gonna hang out with my wife and children. Tomorrow morning, we're gonna jump in here, start cutting. And hopefully this goes, and I can weld it in and we'll be done. All right, see y'all tomorrow. Good morning, we are back in the garage and I think we're about ready to cut this bed up and jack it up. So let's get to it. Okay, as you can see, I got a tape line on both sides, but I'm gonna start with my little 2.5 inch guy over here. 2.5 inches isn't really that small, but you know. I'm gonna start right here with that, and then I'm gonna use the big dog, what is it, 4.5 or 5 inch cutoff wheel for the rest of it. I don't know, and like I don't know if I have to cut down this or this just separates with the seam down here, but we're gonna find out. Let's get it. All right, driver's side is done. I went all the way down to the bed floor here, up, all the way across, and on the front, kind of did the same thing where I cut all the way down. I'm assuming I'm gonna have to trim this once I get it up underneath here, but I went all the way down there, so this side is free. Woo! Now, gotta do the same thing on this side, and hopefully this thing just lifts right up and we can tack it in and be done. Well, as you can see, I'm in a little bit of a predicament because I can't figure out why this bed's not raising up. But so I lifted the bed up, got underneath it, and I think I found it. I'm gonna take these little mudguard things off. There's like 3 9/32 little screws holding it in, holding them in, one on each side. So I'm gonna take those out, and then as you can see one of my cuts from up top. I'm gonna finish that cut and cut all through here. And I think that should be enough to separate the bed floor from the shell of the bed or whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna get started on that and I'll let you know how that goes. As you can see, the bed is back on the ground because I started making this cut and the whole bed started doing some wobbly bobbly shit. So I was like, nah, I'll put it back on the ground so at least has some stability, some structure obviously being on the ground. And I was able to add that bolt back in because my plan is to cut along there. So I'll be able to keep this holding the bedside on. That one's obviously gone because that part's gonna be getting raised up. So let's get to cutting. All right, as always, ear pro, eye pro, check. Let's get the slicing and dicing. All right, we are all sliced through here in the fender weld tub area, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So now let's go do the other side, and finally this bed floor should be free to rise. Ladies and gentlemen, we got it. I didn't feel myself actually jacking the floor up because 1, it wasn't fucking embarrassing, and 2, it took forever. Jack in the front, jack in the back, up here, about there. Couldn't figure out why it wasn't separating, but I figured it out. It was a spot weld. So that 3/8 spot weld removal tool I got didn't quite get enough meat out of there, so it didn't want to separate. So once I drilled those out with a bigger drill bit, she popped right up. She's up about 7.5, 7 5/8 inches. I measured every corner from like the bed rail down to the bed floor, and we're like 10.5 inches all the way around. So she's ready to weld. I'm gonna go in, clean up, I kind of already started there, clean up all the paint. I think I'm gonna weld here on top of the wheel tubs, try to get something up here, and then I'll push the floor or the bed rail bedside in and weld along here. And then back here, we're gonna go right there. And then I got some more plate coming because obviously I have plate in right now because there'd be holes here from the spot weld. So I got some 3-inch wide plate right there. Put the same thing underneath, weld that in, and then I'll put some bracing in. I still don't have access to my air management and all that stuff right there, so you will be able to see in there. I might eventually do a plate or something to cover it, but for now, let's weld all this in and then put seam sealer on and then bed liner, and she'll be done. Okay, got the floor all welded in. You got welds here, welds there, up that, across the top of the tubs, up that, across there, and up. Obviously, you're doing sheet metal, so you want to go slow, kind of not really tack a full spot weld, little spot weld, wait for it to cool down so you don't warp any of this. I still have to build these supports. I'll probably have like 3 back here and then extend the little fucking fender holders in there. I don't know what they're called, but check out what showed up. Still waiting on the C-notches. Those should be here today. Infamous 3-link finally. But for now, we're going to tackle these welds, kind of smooth them out a little bit. I got one of those fancy dancy cut out or flap discs with the material that goes all the way around so you can get into corners. Pretty fucking sick. So we're going to smooth out all these welds and then seam seal it. And that's probably going to be it for now for the bed, because I really want to get the truck back in here and start on the 3-link. All right, let's get to it. Okay, this flap disc might be the best tool I've ever got. And it just made quick work out of all these welds. Got all these all smoothed up and cleaned up. Like I said, I'm gonna go over all the welds with seam sealer to make this look as factory as possible. So I'll just have seam sealer here, going up, across the top of the tub, down, and then across the front, and then up, and so on and so forth. That shows up today. So right now I'm gonna get underneath here and clean up the cuts. So this looks a little bit cleaner under there. Just smooth that up a little bit, and then we'll just have to wait for the seam sealer. I hope it good. Okay, smooth these out real quick with the flap wheel. Ooh, you can see the weld penetration from above. Sheesh. I'm probably gonna paint these inner fenders black just so they kind of blend in. I just wanted to smooth them out because they were looking a little rough, but let's go do the other side and get some seam sealer on here. Wait, hold up. Not seam sealing yet. Kind of forgot I need to weld this plate in. I got a plate, 3-inch wide plate underneath here. I'm gonna weld in all these spot welds too, so I have something to weld the supports to underneath there. I have another plate coming in the exact same size, weld down there, and then I'll have, like I said, the 3 supports right here. But I figured, hey, if I'm seam sealing right here, I should probably weld this first. Don't want to seam seal then weld. That would be silly. So I'm gonna weld this in real quick, just fill in all the spot welds, and then we will seam seal. All right. Okay, got the plate all welded in, just filled in all the spot welds. Now I'm going through right now and cleaning them all up, making them smooth. Probably have to put a little body filler on these just to make it perfect because I'm fucking OCD like that. Clean this all up, then we can weld this plate in down here, weld the supports in, seam seal it, make some longer fender supports, make some longer, taller bed mounts. Then I think we'll finally be done. Don't mind my Temu welding table here, but fucker works. I am currently making the raised bed mounts. So I guess you could say taller bed mounts. So here we are. Here I have one done already. This side, you need to have an M12 by 175 thread pitch that goes into the bed itself. The bottom, you can do whatever. I just found something that fit. I think it was like a 1/2 inch by some shit. Welded a nut to this washer that bolts into there. That goes through the frame. Boom. And then that just screws into your bed. Welded that bolt onto that washer, then welded both of them to this 7.5 inch piece of pipe. So I'm gonna build 5 more of these because there's 6 mounts that have been raised. 2 in the back stay the same height. Yeah, let's get to welding. Kind of a little breakdown what I'm doing. Here's the nut I welded to the washer, so that's gonna go boop into there. That's gonna go to the frame side. This side has the M12 by 175. That's gonna go in like that. You can kind of get the idea. Boom, weld it in. That's gonna go into the actual bed. Boom, simple as that. Got everything welded up. I just gotta weld it all together now. All right, we got the bed mounts all welded up. It's cleaned up, smoothed up. Now, just need to paint them, which I can't do today. It's rainy and shitty out. So next, we are going to extend a Rooney these, the bedside, fucking whatever you want to call them, because that's not cool. Woo, 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 woo. So I got some 5/16 rod. I don't really know what I'm gonna do yet. I might just cut them here on the truck, mount it up top, and then just tack it in, take it off and weld it. Let's see. Okay, well the original idea is not going to work because these angles are way off. That tight, that's sticking way out like that, and this one's pointing that way. So I'm probably just gonna end up cutting the mounts off these just so I can reuse that, and the factory bolts, cut them really close, and then I can just use the new rod I got to make brand new. And the same thing is going on back here because this angle, yeah, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work, house. So let's just make some freshies. And that's exactly what I did. I ended up cutting off the factory ends there and down here. Got a piece of that 5/16 bar I was talking about from Home Depot. Put them on here. I just put the ends in each side, tack, and then measured a piece. I think it was like 16.5. Tacked it in, brought it over to the table, and welded it up. Now we gotta do 3 more. Give you a little idea what I'm doing here. As you can see, took the stock mount, cut the little head off. Same thing with the bottom. Measured it up, got like 17.25 or something like that. So then I'll come in and tack this in. Boom, boom, quick little tacky tack, and then I will take it over to my bench, weld it up, and then work on the one behind me. All right, bedside support brackets all welded in. It's got some 5/16 rod right there. This is the front passenger over here. Got the back done. Same thing on the driver's side. Did the exact same setup. Now let's get to the back. Welding some support brackets and a little plate on the bottom, and then seam seal. And I think we're done. All righty. Well, the next step here is build some supports. I already got this same plate up top right here, so that's something to weld to, which makes it a little bit easier, and I want to fill in all these holes so it doesn't look like shit. So I'll take this, already figured it out and cut it. I think it was like 60.5. Under there, and then get underneath here and fill in all those. I'm probably not going to fill them all. Fill in all those spot weld holes. At least I have this plate right here. It'll give me something I can weld this to. I'm going to cut this into, I got 3 marks on here I did. Cut this into whatever this is, 7.25 inches. 1, 2, 3. Done. Let's get it. All right, got that bottom plate all spot welded in from the bottom. She ain't going nowhere. Now, I got 3 pieces of 2x2 square tubing and measured it out. There's a middle, halfway between there, bam, bam. So I'm gonna get those welded in and we should be good to seam seal. Let's get it. All right, I got all 3 of those tacked in, all 90'd up and plumb and level and whatever the fuck else. Let's get those welded in, shall we? Well, there you have it. Floor bed is raised, ready to fit all the C-notch, air management, all that stuff. Do a little strength test real quick. Sheesh. We good. I'm not gonna seam seal in this video because I'm gonna do another video doing like a rafter liner, spray liner, so I'll just do that then. I think you get the gist of it. We went over literally every single thing from supports to the extended bedside bracket thingamajigs, the cutting, the welding, and all that. I think you get the idea. So once again, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for the Raptor liner, bed liner video. We'll do that, and until next time, see you later.